Hi, I'm Cindy Pham, and you're listening to The Incoherent Fangirl.
Welcome to the Incoherent Fangirl.
Where we're back. We're finishing out season 5. Did you
Did
miss
you miss
us?
us? I'm Mandy of Saratoga Springs.
And I'm Karen of Lumnos.
Oh, I love where you're from.
I do too, and I also
I
hate it.
told you, it's so good.
I love it and I hate it, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome back. We're excited. We're ready to record and bring you I think we have a lot of returning people for the
We
second
do.
half, which is
Well,
really
we also
exciting.
have that's really exciting. But then
Oh,
we also have some really exciting
we have some
newcomers
really
too.
exciting new, I'm looking at our list right now. I'm like, all of these newcomers are amazing, like
Insane.
heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Like, truly, I'm so
Yeah.
excited. So, yay, we're back.
Yay.
In our timeline, it is July 16th, and in y'all's, it is July 24th. Our first episode back of season 5, part 2.
Yes. Look at
Yay.
us. 5 years
Good
and a half.
Lord. What the hell?
I don't know.
That's
This is
crazy.
weird.
Somebody the other day, it was Casey. Casey the other day sent me a screenshot of something, and she's like, "We've been friends for a decade." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Wait,
she sent it to me too, and I'm like, why does this make me emo?
wait, that's crazy."
Isn't that
Like,
bonkers?
it does not feel like that long,
It doesn't make sense.
but it has been a decade.
Yeah,
Oh my God. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
We
yeah,
have officially, I think, been doing this podcast more than half of the time we've known each other then at this point.
yeah.
Look at that.
Wild.
Crazy, 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 crazy. All right, let's get into it. This week in fangirling, what'd you do?
I went to Disney
Oh no, you brat.
again. So the listeners don't know that for my birthday last month, the show husband, 2 days before we were supposed to go to Orlando and just like stay at a Hilton and you go to Universal, was like, "Oh, we gotta cancel that hotel. I booked you 2 nights at the Polynesian. I got us Epcot tickets for your birthday. I got you the behind the scenes tour of Living with the Land. I got you a fast pass for Guardians of the Galaxy." Excuse me, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, what? So, slowly turning him into a Disney adult because we went back this weekend. If you're staying on property right now during the summer, you get free tickets into a water park for everybody in your party. So we drove to Florida Saturday and went straight to Typhoon Lagoon. I should go on record that I hate water parks. I don't like public water. I don't like there's too many wet band-aids and I don't like it. And wet like tissue but I will say I didn't see the single band-aid at Typhoon Lagoon. Okay? And that might be the Disney magic. I don't know. So it was not bad. We got in the lazy river and just floated around in the Florida sunshine. It was wonderful. We went and we stayed at Saratoga Springs, which is where I'm from. We got pixie dusted. So we went to our room and there was like a photo frame with Saratoga Springs and a card. It was so nice. It was precious. I have to like print a photo to put in the frame. Um, we took a boat to Disney Springs and we had a celebrity sighting. Okay. If you go to Disney World, then this is an if you know, you know. Eddie Maserati was at Disney Springs. If you don't know, he is this older gentleman who wears these little, I don't want to call them booty shorts because they're appropriate. They cover everything. But it's like a little jumpsuit that's got very short shorts and little short sleeves and a collar. And they're always like bedazzled. And he wears a bedazzled hat. And he is just always out, a big old sunglasses. He's always out just dancing, getting everybody like excited and whatever. And over the years, you've seen him, like we've seen him, and we're walking past World of Disney, and I'm thinking, I wonder if like I haven't seen Eddie Maserati in a while. Like I wonder maybe we'll see him tonight. And I swear to God, I look up and there he is. And I think he was in a yellow jumpsuit, and he's just out there dancing and clapping. And so we like got in front of him and took a selfie. It was very exciting. thrilling. It's thrilling to see Eddie Maserati. If you know, you know. We decided we've never been to an AMC theater. We don't have those in Central Georgia. Yeah,
Oh.
no. We have like
Oh.
Santikos and like regular, like locally owned movie theaters. So we went to the
Oh.
AMC at Disney Springs to see the live action Moana, and we ate dinner in the theater while we were there. Um, hard to
I'm
take The Rock seriously.
I'm I'm sorry. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this. I thought this was like a national
I mean,
brand that was
Atlanta
just
has
every.
AMC,
Okay, I was like,
but
wait.
not Macon.
I was very confused I was like,
No. We just
what?
have it
Okay.
used to be like the Grand. I can't remember who they were owned by before it was Santikos. Now it's owned by Santikos, which is our theater. But we don't have like a dine-in theater like this.
Okay. Okay.
Anyways, Moana.
I was just sorry. Sorry. I got very distracted.
The show husband didn't love the girl who plays Moana. He said her face, like she just wasn't very expressive. So it was
Okay.
hard to like, it was hard to care or believe like
Hmm.
what she was doing because she just did not express. She didn't really bother me. The Rock having hair is what took me out of it. But it was my first time seeing Moana since I lost my grandmother, so I did in fact cry like a baby. Um,
As one does.
we boated back to Saratoga the next day. Phase 2 of making the show husband a Disney adult took place when he wore a regular t-shirt and got really hot and had to go buy a Disney like Kuna Flex like thin shirt. Merch. Oh my god. Um that day we just resort hopped. So we went from Disney Springs to the Boardwalk Hotel and walked around there. We took the Skyliner, which is the scariest thing in the world. I always said I would never do the Skyliner. So it's like a gondola ride over nothing. Scary. Um, we took the gondola over to the Riviera and we got in with a family. And so they
Okay.
didn't realize we were going to be in there. So they kind of, the husband and wife were facing each other and then their little kids. And the little kids were very sweet, but very like overstimulating. And the mom's trying to tell us a story. And I'm sitting next to the husband facing Josh. And behind my husband and this lady's wife, a bolt of lightning comes down and hits what looks like the Skyliner. So we're both like hit the deck.
Oh Lord.
It was the scariest thing, and it looked like it was maybe 100 feet away from us. You would have thought like nothing happened. We
Oh
kept going. We
my
get out.
God.
It was terrifying.
That
It was
sounds
terrifying.
terrifying. That's
But we,
horrifying.
yeah, it was so scary. So we stayed at the Riviera and ate lunch and let the storm blow by because we didn't want to get back on a bus.
Right.
Back on the Skyliner, it was so scary.
Yeah.
To the yacht club. From there, what did we do? How did we get from the yacht club? Maybe a bus. I can't remember. We went from the yacht club to the monorail circuit. So we went to the Contemporary. Maybe we took a bus to the Magic Kingdom, walked to the Contemporary, took the monorail to Polynesian, walked to the Grand Floridian, walked back to Magic Kingdom, and took a boat to the Wilderness Lodge where we had dinner at Whispering Canyon Cafe. This is another, if you know, you know. This is like a Dick's Last Resort, but like Disney friendly, like kid friendly. So it's where they can be kind of rude to you. Like our waitress sat down and she was like, "What do you want? What do you want?" Like, I'm so tired of this. What do you want? And then like if you ask for ketchup, they shout, "We need ketchup over here." And every bottle of ketchup in the restaurant is brought to you and slammed on your table from like guests, servers, anybody who has a free pair of hands and access to a bottle of ketchup brings it and slams on your table. It's very fun. Then we went back to Disney Springs. My husband has a friend who does audio for some of the shows. So we got to see one of his shows. That was the bulk of our Disney trip. But on the way there and on the way back, the show husband has been continuing his Shatter Me journey. He's 20 minutes until the end of Restore Me. Aaron has made him laugh. It's at the point, I mean, spoiler kind of whatever. Aaron's having a panic attack and Kenji comes in and is like asking him all these questions and Aaron is having a panic attack. And so he finally goes, "Please leave, go directly to hell." I am convinced that he's going to be an Aaron Warner girly. He is still a Kenji girly. He's like, no,
He's
Kenji's the best. But if Castle has no haters, the show husband has died. He hates Castle. He's like, he's useless. All he's doing is stirring shit up and then not like resolving anything. So if Castle has no haters, the show husband is dead. I finished The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow. So we have Owen Mallory, who is a disgraced kind of soldier who is head over heels in love with the story of his home, Dominion. Dominion's greatest hero, Sir Una Everlasting. So she was a knight who slayed dragons, felled men, died for her queen and country. And she is probably the most famous, most beloved person in Dominion's history. Everyone knows the story of Una, but it's never been like written down for a palatable, like mass production audience. So Owen is tasked with officially translating and writing down her story because he's a scholar and I think he's like working at a college and they're like, this is the one. He's the guy who's going to take it seriously. He loves her more than any of us do. So he gets this beloved book that's supposed to be like the start that everybody wants to put their hands on. And he opens it and it's blank. And I don't want to give away a spoiler, but the person who gives it to him pricks his finger, and as soon as his blood hits the book, he's thrust back in time where he comes face to face with Una herself.
Oh.
The problem here is that Owen knows every second of her life. So he has to watch because he's supposed to write it all down as accurately as possible. He has to watch it unfold. And he starts to fall for her as he's leading her to what he knows to be her death. And that death is betrayal by the closest person to her. So it happens and he returns to his time, but he can't stomach like knowing her story and knowing her and how good she was. And knowing that it is in betrayal. So he vows that he's going to change her fate. So what follows is like a timey-wimey trip back and forth through time. It gives like Outlander in a way. I freaking loved it. The yearning in this story is top tier. And it's not just like the main characters between each other, but through circles of time, children are created. And the yearning to make sure that those children exist forever is insane. Chef's kiss. It was so good. There is a trigger warning. I don't think Karen should read it while I'm sitting here gushing about it. So there's a trigger warning, and I'm going to try to be vague, but like it needs to be specific too, so you know. There is a character is intentionally poisoned, and the goal of that poisoning is to cause a forced abortion so that the fetus can be used to do a spell. Now, I will say, I can't explain how, but the baby ends up okay. Like it's not fine, but the end result is fine, but it's very brutal for a while there. So take that as you will. It was hard for me to listen to, and I don't have the trigger of, children passing away as much as other people do, or infants passing away. This is a hard one. And it's at the very end, but it's a hard one. The story also warps kind of what we're used to. So Owen is the male main character. He's like self-proclaimed coward. He's afraid of everything. He's not very physically strong. And then Una is this strong, brave, brutal warrior. But as they are continuing to meet across time, he becomes more courageous for her and she becomes more soft for him, like for each other. And it, especially when they have children, stunning.
Aww.
Stunning. It was incredible. It was such a good book. Like I'm still thinking about it and it's been a few days.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can stomach that trigger, The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow, I like 1000% you should read it. I've been working through Adversary to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. Obviously, it's the fourth book. I can't tell you anything,
Not a
but
damn thing.
obviously, she's she's an extra fangirl. Okay, so like we love Hannah. We know she's not going to do any wrong.
Yeah.
So, and then I've been working through The Secret World of Briar Rose, which we can talk about later. What about you? What did you do this week?
I have notes, guys.
Yay!
Okay, so I read The Romance Revival by Christina Lauren. This follows Emery, who has this super secret, top secret job that not even like her husband knows what she does. Everybody in her life who is not a part of this job, no clue. Super top secret. She's a scientist of sorts, and they're working on like medical miracles essentially, but it's super top secret. And she's very consumed by this super top secret job because she wants to change the world, as one does, you know? So she's constantly forgetting, you know, important things in her life, such as her anniversary dinner with her husband, Luca. And this man puts up with so much, and he just loves her through it. And he's like, I get it, you know, like she's doing what she's got to do. And yeah, so she misses their anniversary dinner. She's on her way. She's calling him. She's like, hey, I'm so sorry. We'll meet here, like by the house, because he's out for a run. She's driving home. We'll meet here, and then we'll do something. We'll spend some time together. Like, it's really late.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Luca is in a very tragic accident, and Emery breaks every single rule of this super top secret job in order to bring him back.
Yeah.
And she's able to do it. It's a medical miracle, and she can't tell anybody, obviously, because she's broken every rule. And he would probably be really grateful that she's done this, except he has zero memory of anything.
Whoops.
So he can, you know, he knows how to speak and all of like the major stuff, like the life stuff. He just doesn't have memories of who he is. He doesn't have memories of his
the emotional memories.
Yes, exactly.
He's
got the motor skills,
ability.
Yeah. He has all his abilities, but he has no memory.
He knows how to be an adult, but that's it.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously the scientist in her is like in awe, right? Because, oh my God, this worked, but at what cost?
Right.
And so she's like, at this point, she's like, I have to make a decision about what I'm going to do, and what I'm going to do. And all I care about is the second chance that I have with my husband. I need to be more present. I need to be better. I need to help him through this, whether or not he remembers me. So good. So good. And the way that they write these characters, it's so fun to watch them fall in love, even though she's very clearly already in love with him and he has no idea who she is, but he's still, the core of who he is still there. And so watching him fall in love with her, oh, so good. It's so good. I read Working Late by Rebecca Kincaid. This is like it's a novella. So you have Virginia, who is just simply wasting away at her corporate consulting job. She hates her life, but she needs to do this job because she's got her single mom who did so much for her, and she's got student loan debt out the wazoo. So she's being paid well. She's got to do this job. And it is burning the midnight oil. It's midnight, or it's almost midnight, New Year's Eve, and she's plugging away because she's got to do what she's got to do. And then she looks out the window at the building right across and sees this mysterious man, the hottest man she's ever seen in her entire life. And he is also burning the midnight oil on New Year's Eve, and they lock eyes and they have a moment, and she cannot let this go. And so for the next several weeks, she like looks over and they just have these moments with each other. And she has no idea who he is because she just sees him through the window. And while she's doing all this, she's desperate, like while she's building this like weird chemistry with a person that she has never spoken a word to, she's also having to deal with the absolute insufferable prick that is like nitpicking every piece of work that she's doing in order to get it right.
Ugh.
And everything comes to a head when they meet in person, because who might this insufferable prick be but the mystery man from across the way? And of course, we know what happens.
Oh yeah.
It's a fun time. It's really quick read. Rebecca Kincaid can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. I love her so much. I read Glow of the Everflame by Penn Cole, which is book 2 of the Kindred's Curse series. So
good.
literally I cannot say anything because spoilers. What I can say is that it really just picks up running right where book 1 leaves off, and then leaves us on yet again one hell of a cliffhanger, which is definitely worse than book 1. The way my jaw dropped and my kid was like, "What is wrong?" I'm like, "Don't speak to me.
Yeah.
Do not speak to me. I can't. I cannot handle this right now." Yeah, it's great. It's a good time. I read The Summer Girlfriend by Christina Forrest. You have Noelle, who is doing as many odd jobs as possible. She's, doing DoorDash. She's working like her day job at a bookstore. She also occasionally for weekends will be a for hire bridesmaid. So people can hire her if they just need another bridesmaid. They don't have enough people, whatever it may be. She's doing everything she can to earn this money and save this money so that she can go back to college and finish out her degree. Because of things that happened in the past, she was not able to continue at college. And so she's very desperate to go back to school and finish up her degree. She has this plan in place that she wants to do, but she has to get this money. And on the day that she finds out that she's actually being let go from her bookstore job simply because they're struggling, the bookstore is struggling, and they have to let her go, in walks Jeremiah Smith II, who is one of the he's part of the Smith Sweets like empire, this very famous like sweet shop. They are family owned. And it was built off of literally like his grandpa would make his grandma's mom's recipes while she was pregnant because that's what she was craving. And eventually word got out and they're like, hey, we can make this a business. And that's kind of how it all started. He is not a billionaire.
Oh, okay. I take back my nose scrunch then.
He's wonderful. So he has walked away from the business because he doesn't think he's good enough to be a part of his family's legacy. And he is now working separately from them. But he's told his mom that he can't come spend the summer at like their family beach house like he normally does because he has this new girlfriend that he is spending time with. Only problem is he doesn't have a new girlfriend. He just cannot bear going back to this beach house because of what happened last summer. That's a face. It's a baby.
Of course he stops. He was like jumping and lifting the cushion.
Oh my goodness. Of
multiple
course he
times. Sorry.
No, it's good.
Like, what the hell is he doing over there?
And so Jeremiah walks into the bookstore and he immediately is entranced by Noelle, who very mutually is like, this man is hot. And he's like, and they have this really great conversation where she actually does tell him like, hey, this is one of the things that I do is I'm like a bridesmaid for hire. It just comes up naturally in conversation. Who knows how, but it does. And so he walks out and he's like, actually walks back in and he's like, can I pay you to be my girlfriend for a weekend? And she's like, what the fuck? And he's like, no, like, no funny business. I just like, I lied to my mom and now I need a girlfriend. And she's like, I need the money. So she signs on and they have the weekend. They have a fake breakup at the end of the weekend. And they think it's done. Except Jeremiah's mom has now reached out to him and she's like, hey, you know what? Actually, I think you guys could make it work. You should try and make it work with her.
Oh, rip.
And he's like, oh shit. But he's also like, I really like her.
Yeah.
maybe this is his excuse. And so he reaches back out to Noelle and he's like, hey, so I know it was just for a weekend, but like, what if we just did it for the rest of the summer because he's about to move to California. They live in New York. He's about to move to California. He's like, just until I move. And then when I move, I can like break it to them easier. Like, you don't have to. And of course, she is like also still interested in him. So she agrees. And they enter into this new agreement that predictably, as it happens in romance novels, becomes something a little bit more. And it is very cute. It's really funny because I was listening to it at work and I get to like 73%. And I turn to my coworker and I'm like, I think they're finally gonna bang. Because it took so long. It was like, what is happening? And it's so clear from the beginning that they're attracted to each other. But
Drives you insane.
it does drive me insane, but it was a good time. It was a good time. So, and then I read The Secret World of Briar Rose by Cindy Pham, which we will talk about shortly.
Do you have a fictional boyfriend from said week?
I would say that I love Luca as like a character and as a man because he is just so sweet and so accommodating and so like he's so in love with Emery. He's just like, I'm just here. Like, they whip into each other's lives just completely unexpectedly, hit it off right away, immediate chemistry. They get married within like months of like meeting. And the way that he just loves her for the next 3 years, so unapologetically loves her. And then for that accident to happen and then to watch him fall in love with her again. My heart. I can't handle it. He's such a sweetheart. And also I really want to be friends with like Emery and Noelle. I feel like they would be really fun people to just like Emery is just talk about women's in men's field. Like she kills it. She basically creates something to bring somebody back from the dead.
Yeah, that is pretty killer.
So I'm like, you're pretty damn cool. And then Noelle is just like, she is so friendly and just so outgoing. And like, there's a reason that she can do something like be a bridesmaid for hire and actually like make it appear like she has known the bride for many years and would be asked to be a bridesmaid. Like, there's something about that kind of personality that I'm just like, I would love to just spend some time in your orbit. That is so cool. Like, to just be able to just be like, care so much while also still like understanding that like there's boundaries that you also can't cross. But doing it in such a compassionate way as well. So it's great. I love them both. So that's what I would say. I'm not asking you yours. That would be a waste of breath.
The show husband did get to lift your hips for me, love. He got to the pager scene where like Juliet is like frantically hitting the pager to get him to come. Oh my God, to come get her. And then they got to lift her hips for me, love. And he's like, this is what you like so feral for. I'm like, look, you don't understand. You don't understand. You haven't finished the whole series yet. You don't get it. You will, though. I love him so much. But I also love Owen Mallory. So he's stuck in this time loop, but not in the same way that Una is. Like, he's able to, like, he's the one that is going to a time that's not his own. Mm-hmm. But even though he considers himself to be a coward, he will stop at nothing to change her fate and becomes a fucking daddy when they have children. Like, it is crazy. It is crazy work. It is. Oh, he's so good. She's so good. Like, oh. Actually, Owen and Una, love them both. So
nice.
Aaron, Owen Mallory, and Una Everlasting.
I love it. Sounds like excellent choices.
Yeah.
Sound means we have an intruder alert.
Oh, this is so exciting.
I'm so excited. We are talking to Cindy Pham about The Secret World of Briar Rose. I have my finished copy, so look at this. It's so gorgeous.
I my other copy.
Yay.
I'm obsessed. Thank you so much for being here, Cindy. We are so excited to talk to you about this book.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I have been excited to get on this podcast, especially since we met at my book tour as well. So it's definitely been a long time coming. Actually, it's been like a month since my book tour, so I've had to
I
wait for quite a
know.
while till I could
I
finally get in
know,
front of
it's
you
been a
two.
while. You're actually, we take like a summer break. So you're like our first interview back from break. So it's really cool to like start this next part of our season with you.
Oh, nice. I mean, this is also like my first interview like since the book release too.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's been a while for me. I'm like, oh no, I'm not as articulate anymore. Am I going to
You
remember
don't
like
have
how to
to be
describe
No.
anything?
incoherent.
Yes, we
Oh yeah,
named
It's
it
our
it's for the
appropriately.
brand.
theme.
Yes, exactly. All right. So the first thing we always ask, and we feel like this is usually like the hardest question, is like, can you give us the elevator pitch for the book?
I knew this was going to be a question, and I also knew I should have like practiced since I've been out of practice, but here's my incoherent answer. So basically, The Secret World of Briar Rose is a young adult queer Sleeping Beauty reimagining that follows a thief searching for her missing sister. And she uncovers a portal inside Sleeping Beauty's dreams where her sister has been hiding. And the story essentially takes place inside this dream world. And the themes about the themes in the book largely revolve around grief and depression. So naturally, even though the world is quite whimsical and beautiful, there is a lot of angsty stuff that's in the undercurrents that the characters have been repressing. So it's very much a personal psychological book for me that I try to dress up in very flowery writing.
I
And
love
you,
it.
yeah, it's amazing the way that you've done it. I really enjoyed it.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
So, what made you choose Sleeping Beauty to reimagine?
So the idea basically came from this wish I've had since I was basically a little kid where I wanted to sleep forever and never wake up. And I definitely have had like a lifelong habit of oversleeping a lot to avoid reality. Like I've slept for over 24 hours, sometimes even like 48 hours. Like I will really like take bed rotting to an extreme. And so one day I made that connection to Sleeping Beauty and her curse to sleep forever. And I wondered, what if this was a curse that she had actually wanted? And what if this was more some kind of respite for her from depression and grief and wanting like a sense of escapism in the same way that we turn to fiction to avoid reality? I felt like there was an interesting opportunity to make like an allegory for depression and mental health through this story. And I've always loved fairy tale retellings. That's how I got into young adult in the first place. So it kind of felt like a nice full circle moment for me to get to that place and explore, these kinds of heavy themes, but with like the familiar rhetoric of a fairy tale that most people know about, but maybe they can see like a different perspective this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of kind of coming full circle in a way, you are kind of a celebrity of your own in kind of the bookish space. You're a huge booktuber. What was like was writing something that was always at the back of your mind, this is something that I want to do? And what was kind of like the catalyst that was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to write it.
Yeah, I mean, I had always been writing even before I started a booktube channel because I've been writing basically since I was in elementary school. And I think this was another meta layer to this book because I would use writing and fiction as a way to escape reality because it was so much easier to think about fictional characters' problems than my own. And it wasn't until college, well, actually, I wrote the first draft for this book in senior year of high school. And then I didn't touch it again for like several years because I thought I needed to like focus on my career and just focus on other priorities. But after I graduated college and I was starting my first job, this was around 5 years later, I started reading more avidly and I started a booktube channel to talk about the books that I was reading. And I think just for me being back in that environment of books and talking about stories, I think it was just like a natural progression of me inevitably thinking back to the last story that I wrote and how a lot of the themes in there were still applicable to my life, but now I've like developed a frontal lobe and I've grown a little bit more. So I think the moment where I decided like I would actually pursue it like seriously and try to make it like a quote unquote real book or try to publish it was I was taking like a solo trip, and it was the first time that I wasn't distracted by my job or like YouTube or like even my friends to distract me with. I was traveling solo, and my brain just kept on gravitating towards that story and all the things that I would want to add to it or how I would like rewrite it going back to it again. And I think like just the fact that in my free time and the free space in my head, like the fact that I was gravitating towards that instead of anything else was a good sign for me to realize I need to get back into this. And like, this is what life should be about. Like, we should spend more time in our lives doing things that we want to do instead of things that we feel like we should be doing, which is kind of like the realization that I was doing back when I was like, in my corporate girl boss phase. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't actually want to do this shit. Like, I want to, write a depressing fairy tale book and have fun with it. And I think by that point, since I had um, established a platform, I knew that there would be a possibility that it could be published. And so I just wanted to make sure that I would get it right. And I spent a very, very long time just like constantly rewriting it and revising it till it got to a point where I felt comfortable enough querying agents.
That's so
Love
cool.
that.
So
Yeah.
what was that process like querying? And I guess we could also talk about like what your writing process is like and how it maybe changed and evolved from being a high schooler to a grown adult with a full frontal lobe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just revisiting the draft, like I literally had to rewrite everything. I mean, I think that first draft was basically draft zero because it was just incomprehensible. But I think that's what a lot of my first drafts are. Even like throughout high school when I was writing fiction, I would do NaNoWriMo where you would write
Mhm.
a novel like in a month. And I think that was good for me to just like get it over with, because I think a lot of people get caught up in trying to edit as they write or like the perfectionist aspect of writing, but you're not going to like keep your first draft. And I think that in the first foray of writing, it's better to like finish it so that you have something to like work from. Even if it's shitty, it's like still something
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
opposed to like a blank page. And so I do think that was helpful for me to just like have something there for my adult self to work from. And I think like even though there were changes I made to it, like I added a second timeline. So every other chapter would alternate between present day and 100 years ago. I also like changed the main characters to be queer women and different things like that that would kind of like affect the structure of the book. But I think the core message and theme was still the same. It was a matter of like now that I'm an adult and I have read more books and have thought more critically about books, I can have a little bit of a better go at trying to figure out how to best express the kind of story that I wanted to write.
Mhm.
I don't think that reading a lot makes you like a good writer necessarily, but I think it makes you a more purposeful one. And I definitely feel like that was the case with me, where I got a better idea of like the type of story that I wanted to write, and especially the ones that I would like to read as well, rather than like maybe my high school self kind of naively believing what a good book, quote unquote, should be.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that time that I spent kind of like growing up and living my life and going through like several therapy sessions and depressive episodes like really helped. Like it was all part of like leading up to the book. Like it was all research
Hmm.
basically leading up to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I do think like probably like if I were to write another book, I think I would want to plan it out more where I really see the value of like an outline and being very specific with like it's interesting because like in publishing they try to kind of think about it like in log lines and like what's like the one paragraph blurb to like describe the book. Like it's a different kind of framework for the book, but I find that maybe going along with those frameworks, at least when you first define a story from scratch, is kind of like helpful as a Northern Star for me. So I'm kind of
Mhm.
like picking up bits and pieces along this publishing journey of what I like. And we'll try to like keep moving forward. But I'm still a very slow writer. So the idea of like a new book, I mean, I don't know when that will happen, but yeah. And then was there like another question as well? I think that was like a two-parter
Well,
question.
like the querying process, what was that like for
Oh,
you?
yes. Okay, so interestingly, the querying process was very quick. And I think that was because, it was most definitely because like my platform like gave me more of like an influence. And I also targeted like for my first batch of queries, I targeted agents that were known for having very fast response rates because if they request a full manuscript right away, or if they give you an offer pretty soon, then that gives you permission to bump every other agent and let them know that you've gotten an offer or you've gotten a request for a full manuscript, and that bumps it up to the top of their inbox. So that was a way to kind of like streamline everything. But then the interesting part was that when it came time to like after I got my agent and it came time to pitch to different editors to actually get that book deal, that took me about like 6 months, which I think is like the norm for a lot of books out there. But in my mind, I was like, wait, I thought I would have the privilege of a white man. Why is it like not
Right,
being like
fair.
given to me on a
Yeah.
silver platter? And I was like, dang, they actually have to evaluate based on quality and preference. But yeah, I mean, it worked out in the end because I feel like, it made me realize like how fickle publishing can be, because even the rejections that I got were so nice. Like they would say things like they loved the writing, they loved the story, but they didn't feel like it was the right fit at the time. Like it didn't fit within the list that they were trying to
Hmm.
acquire for the
Mhm.
season. Or like there were two editors that felt like they wanted like more romance, which I understand because like romantasy is like a big thing right now, but my book is definitely not like a romance by any means. And I wasn't like trying to make it a romance. So sometimes like agents just want different things, and I think they kind of just have to go with like their own very specific preferences, or like
Hmm.
what they think the market will want or what they think the publisher will want. But it did make me appreciate like how specific their preferences are, because I do think that, when you see someone who has like a platform like mine, it would be an easy buy-in where you can just kind of coast off of the platform. And so I really appreciated that despite that, they were very mindful about making sure that this was like the book that they wanted to like invest in and spend their
Yeah.
time on. And ultimately, the publisher that I got and the editor that I got has been so wonderful. I think that the fact that like, so I'm with Coquilla for this book, and everyone in the imprint is a woman of color, and they are very mindful about telling marginalized stories and making sure that there's like other avenues of storytelling, especially for like a young adult audience and for children. And I feel like a lot of their goals aligned with mine. And I could definitely tell that when my editor and I were working together and we were trying to make sure that, like she wasn't trying to make the book something that it wasn't. She was very much like on the same page of like what the book is supposed to be about and how we could push it like even further to best exemplify the themes, and, to make sure that whatever hyper specific audience that this book is for, that we really dial it in. So I think that type of specificity was super helpful like throughout the process. And so now I feel like as I go through, publishing or just even any kind of creativity in general, I'm really like trying to dial down on specificity rather than universal appeal. And I
Mhm.
feel like that just makes it more fun for me. And I think that that gets like the right people to be on the same page as you as well, when you know that they like this specific thing that you're
Makes it
into
more
as well.
meaningful, more
Yeah.
special.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
yeah,
can imagine
definitely.
as somebody with like you said, with your influence and with kind of your space or your spot in this space, like it can be hard to find that authenticity. Like you said, it would be really easy for them to kind of take you on simply because they know that they could do something versus you being able to find the right fit. And I know that you've talked a lot about the team behind this book is very like women led, POC led. Can you kind of talk about that aspect of it, and like from your editor to even your creative team for designing the book, what was the intentionality behind that, and the process of kind of finding the right people for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the cool thing was that at least for the creative team, it was a total coincidence rather than
Mhm.
being like intentional. But I think that's kind of the fun part where like, there should be a team of exclusively like people of color or exclusively Southeast Asian women for like no reason other than like we just love to make like great art, rather than it being for like an Asian Heritage Month special or like, something like that. Like I think people should just be allowed to simply exist like that and still put in like the best work and be celebrated for that. So I got very lucky to be part of a really diverse team where so I'm Vietnamese, my agent is Vietnamese, my editor is Pakistani, my cover artist is Filipina, my cover designer is Taiwanese, and then the interior designer that did all of like the beautiful pages on the inside of the book, she is South Asian and Black mix. So it was just a really cool coincidence of us all happening to be like South and Southeast Asian women, but creating something like really like literally physically very beautiful. And I think
Mhm.
that encouraged me to try to be the best, I guess, mascot for the book as possible because the book isn't really just like one person working on it. It's a whole team of people. And I felt like it would be one thing if, maybe I self-publish it and it was just me on my own. But I think the fact that I had a team of like people, especially, within an imprint that had values that I really respected, um, I think that any kind of success that I get with this book, or even like being able to lend my privilege of my platform to be able to help, this kind of project do well, I think would create positive ripple effects. Like when we got the number one like bestseller on the New York Times. My um the president of the imprint, Kokila, like she had started this whole imprint like with that mission of like,
Mhm.
telling marginalized stories. And she was saying that like people in the office were like cheering like out loud. And I just think that was like really sweet because I think even if like I were to fade into obscurity because I take too damn long to write anything or like, whatever, or like even if the book isn't like for everyone, I still think that at the very least there can be some kind of like positive um effects that happen from it. Like I would like to think that publishers can see that, oh, there are people who are willing to invest and read a book that isn't heavy on romance and read books that are by like Southeast Asian women, and read books that are queer but are not romantic necessarily, and just like other things. Like I hope that for how monolithic a lot of publishing tends to be and how safe they tend to be with like sticking to whatever they think has proven to work. I hope that people are more open to like depressing stories or like weird stories or just things
Yeah.
that are like,
Yeah.
just like different and like maybe not something that you might like would be as easy to market. And then maybe the next person doesn't have to have a YouTube channel to like be able to like do it.
Yeah.
So I hope that like these baby steps work up
Yeah.
to something.
I kind of love that the diversity of the team was not intentional. Like it just happened that these were the best people for the job, and it just
Mhm.
happened that it was a very diverse team. I kind of really love that
Yeah.
about it. That's very cool, and it's a good example of like we are allowed to take up these spaces too. We do have that ability, and I think it will open doors. It's gonna be like you said, baby steps, but it's something.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that again, like I feel like a lot of times when there is like an all Asian team or all people of color, it's almost always like, for some kind of like marketing initiative, like
Mhm.
Asian Heritage Month or, something like that. But again, like I think we should just simply like exist and do our own thing and let that speak for itself.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that I was like part of that opportunity and was able to see like a really beautiful book come to life as well. Like I appreciated the whole production of the book like so much more, just seeing like all the hard work that people have put into it. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful for that.
I know future authors are too,
Yes.
because like you said, baby steps to opening
Yeah.
doors to where it's not going to matter. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I had a friend like she's hoping to like debut in like query agents, but she's Asian as well. And then she had read my book and she was saying that that this book could finally be like a comp for her, like a comparison title for when she like pitches to agents because you have to mention like at least two other
Mm-hmm.
titles that have been like published within the most recent years, and they have to be like similar to your book, which I have a problem with because I don't think like again, it's very indicative of how publishing can be very monolithic, right? Like
Yeah.
they want like a reiteration of a reiteration. And so like if
yeah,
you were to write something like, maybe more different or experimental, that's hard to find like comp titles for that.
right. How dare you
So
be different?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I found it very like it was great that she was able to find like a more accurate comp through my title as well. So
That's
again, just seeing like those positive
awesome.
ripple effects
Yeah.
has been cool.
That's
Ah.
amazing. I love that.
We want to keep you forever, but we promised that we would not. So I'm gonna have to guide us into the questions that we always ask our authors. These are where everything you've ever consumed in media is gonna leave your brain.
It's gone.
Um, so we have a segment on the podcast that we call Fictional Boyfriend of the Week. And it doesn't have to be a boyfriend. It's just where we pick a fictional character that we've really vibed with that week. Karen's had a fictional granny. I've had a fictional son. We've had fictional pets. So are there any fictional characters in movies, books, TV, video games where you were like, that is my reason for living? That is my favorite. Everybody should know this character.
Oh, I'm gonna have to think. You're right, because like when you ask that
You're
question,
Right.
like, have
It's
I
like,
everything
how,
ever
I've
read a
ever
book?
yeah,
What
what's a
is a TV
movie?
show?
What? What is media? I've never done this before.
yeah. Oh, I'm trying
See,
to.
I'm the only person, like, I'm always prepared. I have mine and I have Karen's.
Well,
Sometimes
what
I
is
forget.
yours? I'm
Oh,
curious now.
I'm an Aaron Warner girly for the rest of my days. Tahanamoku, Shatter Me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
live, breathe, and die for Aaron. So, and hers are anybody Chloe Gong has written.
Right. All of
Mm.
everybody. It's hard. It's like I don't. Sometimes even like just during the week, I'm like, I don't know. I just read this and I don't remember anything about these people.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Roma, Julia and Roma.
Mm. I mean, so I'm trying to think about books I've really enjoyed this year. And I feel like one of them has been Lady Tremaine, which is a retelling of Cinderella, but from the stepmother's perspective. I just really loved it because you got like such an intimate look about this stepmother character who I feel like has always been quite surface level in all of or in most of the Cinderella retellings, but you really got to see like how much of an effort that she has put into to try to just like survive as a woman. And it, took place in a society and time where like the only way women could get power was by marrying a man. And so it was very important for her to make sure that like her daughters were taken care of. And so it was just really cool to like see a character that is kind of like, how do I describe her? A little bit, she's not a warm person, right? Like,
Right.
but I kind of like that. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely like characters who are a bit of a bitch and are like rough around the edges and are not super sweet or kind. And I think
Hmm.
that just kind of makes it more interesting for me to read. And it's the kind of book where I was like, you know what, Cinderella does need to do her chores. Like she needs to pick up the slack. And
I,
there's just some like I can't even say the line, but like she says a really great line to like the villain in the story towards the end of the book that made me like gasp out loud. But she truly was capital M mother for me.
oh, I
And
love it.
yes, yes. So I would pick her as like among the books I've read this year. I have really enjoyed reading about her specifically.
Okay.
So I
I
have a book that I it got sent to me years ago, and I think it was indie pubbed, but it's called Lies That Princess Told You by Caitlin
Mm.
Rush. And it's also a like evil stepmother retelling, and it was incredible. It's not, she's not incredibly like ruthless or even bitchy, but it's like a spin on her backstory and what could have made her that way. And it's been several years
Mm.
since I've read it, but I still remember the name of the book and the author after
Wow, that sounds
reading
good. I'll have
hundreds of
to
books
add
since then.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll add it to my list because again, like I don't know, there's something about like a stepmother, capital M
Yes.
mother that really,
Yes.
is
Yes,
And I'm
serving
gonna
for
have to
us.
I'm gonna have to read Lady Tremaine because
I know.
yeah.
That one's been on my list. I think I just moved up a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, that sounds amazing. Okay, so you've kind of already done it, but like another question that we always ask is like, we obviously obsessed with your book, love it so much, but we would love to know like, what are you reading? What are you recommending? Is there anything recently that really stands out other than, of course, Lady Tremaine that you just want people to know about?
Mm. There's a young adult, like another young adult book that I read. It came out last year, actually. It's called And the River Drags Her Down. And I feel like I always try to champion that book because again, I think a lot of uh something that I found out like when I was going through like the publishing process and also like trying to wait for like a book deal. My agent told me that young adult is a pretty weak market right now. And I think that's because like a lot of teenagers and adults are just reading like adult books. And so there's been, less love for the YA market. And I think especially like romanticy has been such a huge thing. So with And the River Drags Her Down, I just really appreciate how it was such like a quiet, like gem of a story because it was about this girl who had recently lost her sister, and they live in like this coastal town. And she basically tries to like resurrect her sister, and things go awry from that. And the book is ultimately about like grief and having to like move on and like let go. And so, it's not like a sweeping epic fantasy or anything like that. Like it was a very contained story with just like only a few characters. But I think that the poetic writing that the author does with her prose and like the themes of grief that she portrays was just so well done. And I think I've come to really enjoy like stories that have like a simple concept, but just executed like really well. And I think again, like I was reading that while I was still, writing my book. And so I was extra appreciative of like stories in general that convey grief in similar ways that, I feel like I've tried to do with mine. And so, yeah, like another great like YA book that, maybe isn't as splashy as the others, but I think totally deserves its flowers.
Oh, I love.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
adding that one to my
Yeah. I
list
mean, if
Yeah.
it's anything like I was taken away by just like the way that the in your book, like the story is like you said, it's about grief, it's about escapism, depression, that kind of thing. And even with all these heavier topics, it does feel like I'm in a dream. Like they're in a dream world and I feel like I'm in a dream with them, and just the prose that you used and the words that you used and the story you put together, it was very much like I felt like I was in dream-like state while reading it.
Oh,
So
thank you so
it's
much.
yeah, so I'm like the way you're describing this book, I'm like I feel like definitely I gotta bump that one onto the list as well, because if it's anything like that, I'm very
Oh,
excited.
thank you. Yeah, I definitely feel like, the fact that it was like my book is a fairy tale and takes place in a dream world, I think I just wanted to use that as an excuse to be very indulgent with like flowery writing and like, timelines that don't necessarily make sense because in dreams, like, our sense of time is quite warped.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's something that I had a lot of fun like playing around with, even if it's not necessarily like clear or chronological. I think that's kind of, the fun of being in a
Yeah.
dream state of mind.
Yeah, it's kind of the point.
Yeah,
Like just to be
Mhm.
kind
absolutely.
of in there. I love it. All right.
Okay, yeah, last question. We know you said that you take forever to write. do you plan on writing any more? What comes next? Or is it kind of up in the air on what you want to do with your author career?
So I'm wrapping my mind around like another story idea, and right now I'm like writing the synopsis of it, where I'm writing like the major events that are happening from like beginning to end, and then I'm gonna try to use that synopsis as like my North Star to like guide me. So this time, like I'm trying to like improve from what my teenage self did, where like my teenage self just kind of like dove into it. But I was lucky at the time because I think with the Secret World by a Rose, I feel like the story was something that kind of like came to me quite easily. Like I knew how it would start and end, and I knew like the major events. But now with like any other story, I would have to like sit down and like think and think and think forever about it. So yeah, this kind of story I think is like so much more like complicated than like my debut one is, unfortunately. So I want to like kind of take my time and like really just ruminate and marinate and let it
Yeah.
simmer in my head. Yeah, I really think it's better to like let things cook. I feel like I am at a point where, I'm not like a full-time author, and I'm not trying to like make like a serious like career out of this. Like it's something where I want to publish a book when I feel like I have a story to tell, rather
Mhm.
than try to churn out a book like every year or like regularly
Yeah.
in order to like make ends meet or like be relevant or whatever. Like
Right.
I want to only do it again like if I feel excited about a story.
Yeah. You want it to mean
Yeah.
And
something.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
I
so
like to call it like the Suzanne Collins effect. You're writing when you have something to say.
yes,
And
yes,
I like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, going back to like the specificity of it, like I feel like because The Secret World of Briar Rose was so like personal to my experience with depression and mental health, I'm kind of leaning more into like, what other things do I care about? What are things am I mentally ill about? What things can I like excavate in like other stories? And even just like things that I want to learn more about like in the world. So I don't want to reveal too much about like this next story because I mean I don't know where it will go, but what I'm thinking right now is that the main character will be like a chaotic evil bisexual. So I think that will be a
Sold.
lot more.
I'm in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think like the main characters in the Secret World of Briar Rose, like they're both very sad sapphics and they're like in their own, moods. But I think with this new main character, I want to have like a little bit more fun with her. Like there'll still be angst, but like I think it'll be like she'll be evil in a chaotic way, and I think that will be fun. And I also like want to have another main character with chronic illness, just because I've been like reading a lot of nonfiction book about chronic illnesses, and like a lot of my friends have dealt with a lot of like conditions throughout their life, and so I find that what's been fun about writing a story is that it's a combination of like something that I care about with the like whatever the major theme is in the book,
Mhm.
which I can't say because I think that will give away what the book is about. But like that's something that like I'm kind of dealing with in my life right now. But then at the same time, there are things that, I want to learn more about like in the world, like how a disabled person, tries to find autonomy in this world and, tries to like make a life for themselves and like how they get treated and like what could their character development be. So yeah, I think I ruminate a lot on like what are the themes of the book and like what should the characters like mean in the story. But that's kind of like the fun part of thinking of a story for me.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that.
absolutely.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is we're getting more from you at some point in the
At
future.
at some point, I
At
mean,
some point.
I don't know, unless my agent sees it and is like, what the hell is this? Like, but I feel like she's been quite supportive. Like she was asking about, like what the next book would be too. And I've been trying to tell her like I want to take my time and I barely have any ideas, but I think she's been good with it. So yeah. Again, I'm just trying to like be as observant and reflective as possible
Mhm.
because that all feeds into
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
what future stories could happen.
Yeah,
For
for sure.
sure.
Well, this is the part where we do have to give you a little bit of bad news, which is that now that you've been on the podcast, you're actually legally obligated to come back for any future book releases, whenever that may be.
Sorry,
So,
not
Yes.
sorry.
sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, okay. So if this book, mysterious book that I just mentioned, like if it does end up being a thing and I see it to the very end and it gets published, then I will be back. That will be a
Great.
promise that I'm making
That's
here.
perfect. But in the meantime, all of our listeners, everybody out there, you can go walk into a bookstore and pick up your own copy of The Secret World of Briar Rose. The first printing is very beautiful. I'm obsessed. I also like really love the hardcover. Is so it just
Yeah.
it gives like
Gorgeous.
such fairy tale vibes. I mean, the whole thing does, but like I love it so much. So everybody go pick up your copy. It's a
Get a
New York
copy.
Times bestseller. It's
No.
very exciting.
Yeah,
Uh,
all the details were just very, like, they were
it's
very thoughtful and intentional
I
among the
also
team.
like the chapter, the start of each chapter too. Like I love that little artwork in there as well. It's so fun.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. It was a fun surprise when I opened it up to read. So, everybody go pick up
Yay,
your
I'm so
copy.
glad.
It's available now wherever you get your books. Thank you so much, Cindy, for doing this. This has been a blast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And
We'll
hopefully we'll
see you
talk
on
to
the
you
next one,
soon.
whenever that may be.
Whenever it is, we'll be ready.
Yeah, in 10 years, we'll get a reunion
We'll be
going
here.
on.
We'll be here. Whenever you're ready, we'll be here for you. Alrighty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I love her.
I love her so
She's so
much.
fun. She's so like I know that she was like I have to get back in the mind space. I have to like make sure I'm speaking. I'm like she's so well spoken. I don't know
Oh
what
yeah.
she's talking about. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if that was her frazzled and incoherent. Like I
I
wish I
know.
could be half as
I
good
know, right?
because that was great.
Yeah. No, she was awesome.
I loved it. Yay. Okay, I
Okay.
believe now it's time for an announcement.
We have to make an announcement.
Yeah, we have a repeat offender
Oh
coming
my
next
God.
week. We have Sarah Adler coming. We're going to talk about Wild Goose Chase, which I am
Yay.
so excited about. When she was talking about it the last time we talked to her, I was like, yeah, in my
Yeah,
hands now.
sold.
When?
Sold.
Give me.
Gimme, gimme,
I'm
gimme.
so excited. So we are going to talk to her next week, and it'll be a good time.
Yeah, I'm
Yay.
excited.
Me too. And now it is time for a spiel. Yes?
Here we
Yes.
go.
That's next on my list. So yes, it is. Except
Oh.
for you're making a face.
No, we have something cool once we get into the coupon codes.
Okay. Yes, we do. You are correct.
I was thinking of the date when listeners are listening.
Yeah, no, you're correct. That is very true. Okay.
Hey.
Well, we are heading into our or not the coupon codes. We're heading into the spiel and then the coupon codes. So, first of all, first things first. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you are listening to us. Follow us on social media. We are at The Incoherent Fangirl on all of the things. Visit our website, theincoherentfangirl.com, where you can also stream all of our episodes as well as read our blog. Head over and subscribe to our Patreon for early access to podcast episodes, full video episodes, bonus content, and the opportunity to ask questions of our guests. That's super
Crazy.
fun. Super fun. And then if you are itching for some merch, you can head over to our merch store, theincoherentfangirl.com/shop, where you can pick up some really cute stuff because sometimes Mandy gets bored with an iPad and she makes them for us, and we all benefit from this. It's great. It's a good time. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, design ideas, you just want to tell us that we're pretty, we will accept that in our inbox, theincoherentfangirl@gmail.com. We love hearing from y'all. And of course,
there's this person that I work with in meetings.
Uh-huh.
They always say any questions, comments, concerns. In my brain, I'm like, suggestions, design ideas.
So, Karen, are you here? I love that. I think you told me that before.
Yeah,
It makes me
it
laugh
makes me
every
laugh.
time. That's great. And then, of course, one last way to support the podcast is you can rate and review on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Please give us your words.
Give us
You know, we
those
love
words.
words here. Please give us all of them. We love them.
Mm-hmm.
She is at Maddie Perv on all the things.
She's at Miss Made in China on all the things.
And once you've followed us on social media and you follow the podcast on social media, you can head over and visit our internet besties and do some self-care because we love you and we want you to stick around forever.
Yeah,
And what's better than some retail therapy?
nothing.
First up, you're going to head over to our friends at Here Comes the Nerd at herecomesthenerd.com. You're going to get you some pins and artsy goodies. Use code FANGIRL and you'll get 20% off your first order.
then oh my God, this is so cool. I probably should have talked about this in the episode.
We didn't think about
Um,
it.
no. So I am in an anthology. I'm in the Advent, what do they call it? Mary Bookmas box.
Yes.
Um, with Once Upon a Book Club. It is 12 stories that are not Christmas or holiday related that just comes out at the same time as Advent calendars. And you can read a story a day and it come with gifts with Once Upon a Book Club. So pre-orders are open today
When
for
you're
you,
hearing this.
July 24th. So you can go pre-order the Book Club Mess box. You can subscribe to regular boxes, buy any add-on goodies you want. And you can use code Karen10 to get 10% off. But you have to spell Karen right, or what are we gonna do? What
You
are
get
we gonna do?
0% off, and you're
0% off.
immortal living in Lumnos.
Yikes.
They're not very nice.
And you have to live near Henry.
Oh God, I hate
Oh
him.
no.
He's awful.
I'm waiting for a Henry redemption arc. I don't hate him.
I
Like I
I'm
feel like I
just
should.
I just can't stand him. I cannot. Like I was telling Mandy, I'm like, he is the love child of Tamlin and Gale, and I just
Yeah.
makes me want to scream. And like I'm open to a redemption arc because you know how I love the childhood best friend. I love
Yeah,
a
that's
childhood
what
best
I'm
friend.
holding out hope for the childhood best friend, except for Gail.
I'm open to a redemption arc. But man, do I want to punch him in the face.
That's how everybody feels about. Is it up here? I don't know. My man Lorcan from K.A. Lindy's books. Everybody hates him, and I'm like, listen, he's just a little misunderstood baby. Anyways, use code Karen10, spell it right or else, and get a book club mess box because this is the first time I've been in an anthology since I was in the 4th grade. And I did budding authors at Mercer University. Okay. Nobody paid me to do that. That was for free. That was a week of my summer.
That's a long time as a 4th grader. A whole week?
It was my parents had to like coordinate which aunt, uncle, grandma could drop me off and pick me up because it was like 4 hours every day.
Yeah.
But I'm published.
Yes,
I'm in a book.
That's true.
Bound by a college. So.
All right. After that, you're going to head over and visit our friend Amber D. Lewis at amberdlewis.com. You're going to add 10 of everything to your cart, and then you'll use the code fangirl10, and you'll get 10% off of that, which means you've gotten one of everything for free, which is such a great deal. You're so welcome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Math. Hello. And last but not least, you can support my family. You can go follow the show husband. He's at Borna Josh on all the things. Especially go tell him, wow, Disney looks great on you, man. I told him he looked like a Disney daddy the other day in his little Disney shirt.
I'm sure he loved
Then, so Borna Josh on all the things. Follow at Searchers Believe on all the things. That's his paranormal investigation crew. You can go to searchersbelieve.com/shop and get some merch designed by yours truly. If you use code fangirl10, you'll get 10% off. You can go follow at Searchers Podcast. That's a podcast that we may revive someday. Who knows? We're all busy.
Life.
But the most important one is Beacon TV. So follow at Stream Beacon TV on all the things. It's a paranormal, true crime, horror, maybe more app, streaming platform. Yours truly is the social media girly. So if you could like it on all of the things and engage, that would be great. And if you'd like to subscribe to Beacon, you can go to streambeacontv.com or we're in the app stores and use code fangirl10 to get 10% off. And spooky, cool things are coming from there. And then last but not least, I wrote a book. I actually have one now that I can hold up because I do need to show off.
Yes, you do.
For my birthday, she gave me a bedazzled cover.
It's so pretty.
So it's like permanently on the shelf. Yeah. No.
Sorry.
Anyways, it's about a girl named Abby who was born a ghost, and the Reaper who she ages like the living though. And the Reaper who comes after her, who would die to get her to look at him. I'm pretty fond of it. I'm pretty deep into writing book 2. It's going. It's going.
And we're
So yeah,
waiting.
if you'd like a copy, you can get it on all of the major retailers' websites. But if you'd like a signed copy, you can get it at www.aepurvis.com and use code Aaron Warner to get 10% off because it wouldn't be me if I didn't make something about Aaron Warner.
Of
And that
course.
is just a podcast coupon code. Nobody else knows about that. I've never told another soul. So you have
Podcast
to have listened
exclusive.
to the spiel to know that that discount code exists.
Yes.
Yay. Anyways, that was the
That's the
Incoherent
Incoherent
Fangirl.
Fangirl. Thanks for listening. We
Thank you.
love
We love
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
We are sponsored by our friends at Here Comes the Nerd. Pins, stickers, magnets, and more. Here Comes the Nerd has happy art for all fandom-loving hearts. New customers can use coupon code FANGIRL during checkout for 20% off their first order at herecomesthenerd.com. Coupon applies to ready-to-ship items only.